It's your other boys, welcome to stream. It's your boy FPL Josh, and I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope everyone is doing fine. We're just going to be going on about the wildcard again like yesterday. I'm going to be streaming every single day this week with the wildcard, just as obviously there's a lot of things that could change this week with my wildcard. So I think as long as I'm keeping you boys consistently updated, that's the best I can do. So I'm just going to keep everyone updated the best I can. This is the current team. There is other options I have talked about. Obviously, possibly you could go without Saka and have March and have Zinchenko instead of Stupinan. You know, there is quite a few options. I mean, having Matoma, McAllister and March is a very attacking approach, where I do think a Stupinan's a good option. Obviously, I think March is a great option as well. If I could have 4 Brighton players, it would be a no-brainer for me to bring in March for Rashford. It would be a no-brainer. I think I'm quite happy with the team. I do think Cash is nailed for me. There's a lot of talk he might get switched with Chambers, but I can't see it happening. You know, he's had 90 in the last 3. He's come out with 2 assists. He looks very good. And I think he's a great pick. And it's one I don't mind having. There is still the dilemma of whether we're going Kane over Haaland as well. We could possibly go Kane over Haaland. I do think I will most likely be going Kane over Haaland by the end of the week. I don't know if I want to bring in March though for McAllister. Am I going to have March, McAllister, or Matoma March? Going out with Matoma would be daft, but I don't know. McAllister's a good pick, but so Solly March. Solly March's underlying numbers are quite good as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if March returned a big haul. It is a really 50-50 call. I don't think McAllister and Matoma are bad picks though. For me, they're the best picks, in my opinion. Some people have gone without Matoma and gone March and McAllister, which I don't disagree with that either, considering Matoma's ownership's 18% and March and McAllister's a lot less. Obviously, it would just hurt more if Matoma scores a load, but I don't know. My gut kind of says to go March and McAllister, but I'm still torn with that decision. Might not even have Matoma and might go March and McAllister, like I said. Might be something I even consider doing. It's the fact that these have got flipping Crystal Palace, not Crystal Palace, Bournemouth and Brentford that week is quite nice. So it's definitely a no-brainer to have March, not March, McAllister, just as he's on penalties for the 31 double, the 29 double, the 27 double, and 34. It just seems a no-brainer. Which does make me think having triple Brentford midfield could be great, considering they play 29 as well versus Bournemouth. Then I think there's a clean sheet in there, so Stupinan's nice as well as a clean sheet this week. So I think I am quite alright with my decisions, because it does allow me to keep Saka and Rashford. And I don't think they're the kind of players I would be likely to get rid of. Watkins, I think, is a really good pick. I think, to be honest, you could even replace Haaland with Watkins, just as Watkins plays West Ham, Bournemouth, and Chelsea and Leicester. You know, he's playing 4 games. Haaland would only be playing 2 across these weeks. So I think that's a justifiable transfer. If you're going into someone like Tony or Watkins for Haaland, more than justifiable, do it. If you're going into Kane, it's a 50-50 call, with Kane, I think, most likely being the better option. It's just losing that money on Haaland. I think Salah's a must. Could go Gakpo, but I just think Salah is someone I want to keep, especially with how well he played last week against us. I know it was a crap game, but he scored 2 goals and 2 assists, so I don't think it's someone I want to get rid of versus Bournemouth. And I'm okay with having 9 players. Well, I've got 8 players playing. Because essentially, boys, Raya, Henry, Trippier, Botman, Cash, Saka, Tony, Watkins will play game week 28. And obviously, if I do Haaland to Kane, I'll have 9 people playing. I've got 8 at the moment, but I'd actually be fine with that. You know, having 9 players playing 28, I wouldn't be too annoyed with that, to be fair. I mean, I could have not have Rashford and have Odegaard, but Odegaard doesn't double 29, so it doesn't seem worth it. I think it's generally worth having the 8 or 9 players 28, just for the fact I'm going to have, essentially, if I have Kane instead of Haaland, I'm going to have 13 players doubling 29, as well as I can do Saka to Maddison, so I'll immediately have 14 players who double plus Kane. Bring Haaland back in game week 30. Then with the rest of my money I can move into another player for Maddison 31. We'll probably bring Saka back in 31. As well as having Watkins out for Danny Ings. And then obviously Danny Ings will have a decent fixtures for game week 31, Bournemouth. 32, 33 he's benchable, or I can play him. And then 34 he's got a double game week. So I don't think Danny Ings is a bad pick those weeks either. It'd probably be the likes of probably Danny Ings coming in for Tony though, to be fairness, more than Watkins. I think Watkins is probably holdable, to be honest with you, just because he's got Newcastle, Brentford, Fulham and us. And I think us he's benchable, Newcastle benchable, Fulham I'd definitely play him, Brentford I could play him, generally just because as far as I'm aware Ward's not got a bad fixture 32. Ward's got Wolves, so I'll play Wolves 32. And obviously Rico Henry's benchable 32 for the Leicester game, and obviously I'll play more Newcastle 32. And I'm quite sure Newcastle ain't got a bad fixture 32. Spurs. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to keep a clean sheet, to be honest. It is why I do fancy having Castagne though. Just as I do like Leicester's double. So I do kind of prefer Castagne to Botman. It is a hard decision though. I'm still considering whether I'm going to have Ethan Pinnock over Henry. Just because of how low owned Pinnock is. You know, he's under 1% owned, so you're gaining massive rank if he does stuff. I'm trying to go for these like cheeky punts. Like if I didn't have Matoma and I went for Solly March, what's his ownership? His ownership is at 8.2%. Do you know what I mean? And he has these big hauls look like 19, 11, 10. Blank blank, and then all of a sudden he'll get like a 10-15 pointer where like you got the same kind of thing with McAllister. He has the occasional really big point score. He's not had a massive amount this season though. It is for me though just the fact that he's on penalties. But I mean, I wouldn't even mind going. I love McAllister, but I wouldn't even mind having March there, to be fair. Just that I don't think that's a bad pick at all. It's more the fact Mistoma's been outscoring his points by a mile. He's had that consistent with his points. Like he's had 7, 8, 6, 10, 11, 2, 2, 13. You know, he can bump these points out of nowhere. And all of his points have come within those weeks. So it does seem like a no-brainer not to have him. But it's just the fact that his index is 103. March's index is 177. When McAllister's index is 122 because of penalties. So it's hard. It really is. It's a very hard decision. I do think those are great. Yeah, no, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. God, it's such a hard decision, man. It's such a hard decision for me because I don't disagree with March as a pick. I don't disagree with that one bit. I think March is a great pick. It's just trying to figure out who's going to score the most. March does seem better than McAllister. So March and Matoma does seem the better options there. But then McAllister's on penalties, which just means obviously they get a penalty. He's on it. Stupid, I think he's just better for clean sheets. It is a 50-50 call, whatever you go with. I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if McAllister hauled. It's just the fact that March's index is at 177. I'm going to pull up the FPL team app quickly for this week. And I'm just going to have a look. I'm just quite curious to see, so I won't be able to read the chat for a minute, who scores more? March or... So March puts it to 102, you see. But with McAllister... What happens if I was to do, let's say, cashier to... example, do you to Zinchenko. Bring you on for... Right, you actually got McAllister, yeah. Right, so McAllister March or McAllister Matoma. Right. Let's put a Stupid back in there. I'm just curious who does more. March is predicted more than... and then Matoma and McAllister are pretty much equals. Oh, here we go. We got a question. Hold on, bro. I will be with you. Okay, our plan to wildcard 28. Deciding to go for Matoma, Tony, and me only. Carver's taking at Rashford, Salah, or Saka this week for March. Thoughts? Have you made the transfers yet? If not so, I would not go Ben Mee. I prefer either Rico Henry or Pinnock with attacking threat. Going at Rashford, Salah, or Saka this week for March. I prefer March to Saka. For me. But if you're wildcarding 28, I don't really think there's a need, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think there's a need, considering you've already made 2 transfers anyway. Yeah, no. To be honest with you, I think this week, wildcarding this week is still the best option for me. For anyone, I think wildcarding this week is the best option. I don't think there's any point in wildcarding 28, because you wildcard this week, you can set yourself up with 9 players playing 28, as well as having 13 players double 29, plus you can make the transfer from Saka to Maddison for 14 who double. You could have Kane over Haaland who has better fixtures, get Haaland back in game week 30. So, I do think there's benefits. I will probably be most likely bringing Kane in for Haaland, but if I do that, I'll do it Friday. I do think from what you're saying, it looks good. What's your team looking like, Grace? What's your current team looking like? By the way, boys, if none of you subscribe, can you please subscribe? It's much appreciated. We're on our way to 140 subscribers now. We're only 4 off. So we are getting close to the monthly goal. I do like that team. I do like the picks you've got, though. Matoma, Tony, and me. I do prefer Rico Henry, though. I am looking at Pinnock as well myself on this wildcard. I'm just looking at the proportions on here, and it just seems like March might be a better pick than McAllister. But yeah, no, it's a big tough one. Big decisions. I do like the way my red card currently sits. I have got 2.6 in the bank as well. So there is options to obviously go like Ben Chilwell instead of Botman, or, you know, I did have Mings and Cash. I had Mings instead of Botman, but I decided just having Cash is probably just big enough for Villa. I do like Cash as a pick, to be honest, and I think he's quite nailed for me. So I do like Matty Cash, and I've got a good feeling about him that he's going to play really well versus Bournemouth, as well as in that double week. And then they've not really got a bad run of fixtures, to be honest with you. He's not got a bad run of fixtures. He's got Nottingham Forest, you know. They'll be bringing Haaland back in, game week 31. I can always get him out for Newcastle. And Watkins, I'll play Trippier, because he's obviously a essential defender. You'll probably just play Tony, whoever he's got 31, which he's got Wolves, so you'll play him. You'll play Rico Henry, probably just play him 32. Nah, actually no, you'd probably bench him 32. Or bench Weah for Ward 32 and play Henry 32. And obviously play Tony and Watkins, as they've both got attacking threat. But 31's a double game week anyway for Newcastle by the looks of it, as well as Brighton should have a double in 31, which does make me think tripling up on Brighton midfield could be a really big turnaround, as they could all get a return each pretty easily. But then Stupinan offers possibly 2 clean sheets for Brighton, so I don't see any need to not have a Stupinan. I think he's the best pick, to be fairness, for the Brighton defence. Okay, starting Kepa, Meat, Trippier, Gabriel, Salah, Saka, Matoma, Rashford, Watkins, Darwin, Haaland, 1 transfer for Tony, either Watkins or Darwin. Right, bench Ward, Tarkowski, Andreas, Lewis. If you're wildcarding next week and you'll have enough to bring Haaland in, I don't mind for that draft going without Haaland for Tony. Just as Darwin versus Bournemouth seems a better fixture than Haaland versus Crystal Palace, and Tony has the double. And I just don't really think Haaland's going to score more than 10 points, and I think Tony's going to have a minimum of 15 points between those 2 games. I reckon he'll get a goal in each game, 2 bonuses a game at least, so there's 16 points. So I think for Tony, yeah, he's a great decision. And if you do bring Tony in, that would be my captain for this week. A lot of people are looking at Matomas, March, McAllisters. I think they're not bad ideas. If I do have Solly March, then I might captain him. But to be honest with you, my main captain at the moment is Tony. And your bench is obviously Ward, Tarkowski, Andreas, Lewis, Rico. And Rico Lewis. I had Rico Lewis and I got rid of him. Obviously for my wild card. And 1 transfer for Tony. Yeah, I would definitely be keeping Ollie Watkins. I'd definitely be keeping Darwin as well, to be honest. I think it's not a bad idea going without Haaland and just bringing Haaland back in game week 30. I think going out without Haaland for a double game week player like Tony or even Kane this week, and having Kane for both of the games and Tony for both of the games in a double, is justifiable. And then you could bring Haaland back in game week 30 because you keep obviously Darwin for the double 29. So I think that is very justifiable. But it just depends if you're going to keep Darwin 28 when you wildcard. If not, I'd do Darwin to Haaland this week. Darwin to Tony this week, sorry. But I do like, if you wildcarding next week, I don't think it's a bad idea to go without Haaland for 1 week. And then just bring it back in 29. I don't think that's a bad idea. Not 29, so we game week 30, like I said, because you wildcard. So I don't think that's a bad idea. My team didn't necessarily need a wildcard. It just seems the best time to wildcard it. This was my current team last week. If I go into points. This was my running team. So I had Lewis, Raya, Wright, Tarkowski, Shaw, Saka, Odegaard, Rashford, Salah, Kane, Haaland, Morpie, whatever. I lost money on Kane because I sold him stupidly for Watkins when I should have just waited, because I might even do him to Haaland to Kane now. But yeah, no, I generally I don't think having Tony over Haaland is a bad decision. It is just a 50-50 call. I just think the way you've got to look at it is Darwin versus Bournemouth. The way Liverpool's just come off, as much as I'm a Man United fan, I'll suck it up and say they've come off a great 7-0 win because we played shocking. I just don't think, I can't see Darwin getting at least 2 goals that game. But obviously it is a 50-50 call, but I do think Tony is worth getting Haaland out for Tony this week and keeping Darwin in that, considering your wild card in 28. Because I just don't think it's worth having Haaland, as he blanks 28. You know, you're not going to want him 29 really for Liverpool. Kane and Tony and all that are better, considering they're all doubling, like Darwin, Watkins, and whatnot. And then you just bring Haaland back in game week 30. So I don't think that's a bad pick. I will probably most likely be getting rid of Haaland myself on Friday. I just need the ballsy decision to do it, and I'll do it Friday, just so I can avoid any injuries relating Kane, Haaland, or whatever. I'd avoid it for now. I think that is the transfer I'd make, but I would definitely be doing that. I'd make that transfer on Friday, just to make sure you can avoid any injuries, anything, any news this week. That is the safest way to play it, is to try and just avoid any injuries or anything that might possibly happen. Which is how I tend to look at those situations, is just try and avoid everything. But yeah, no, I'd be quite pleased, to be honest. I'd be alright with that team, but I think a wildcard's worth it, just because you're allowed to have 6 people double this week, and you still have 9 people for the blank if you had Kane over Haaland, and then you'd essentially be having 14 players double for 29 for the bench boost. So I think this week is the best week to wildcard. I don't see any reason to save it for 28. I think it's pointless saving it for 28. There's no benefit in doing it 28 when there's more benefit doing it now. And by the way, boys, Brighton players, like I've just said, double 27, 29. There's a possibility they're double 31, and then 90% guaranteed to double 34. So you've essentially got 27, 2 weeks' time, 29, double. 29, 2 weeks' time, 31, should double, but there's a possibility they don't. Then 31 to 34, they're double 34 then. So you've got a load of Brighton doubles. So Brighton are the kind of players you would want to be stocking up on 3 minimum. I would not be going to anyone. I would definitely be having 3. And the 3 I would pick are either McAllister, Matoma, March in midfield, or Matoma, McAllister, Estupiñán, March, McAllister, Estupiñán, or March, Matoma, Estupiñán. Those are the picks I would be going. Especially with how this week has gone so far. I do not like any other picks Brighton-wise, though. I think Dunk is a pick, but only if you can't afford a Estupiñán, which is very doubtful anyone will be incapable of affording a Estupiñán, considering he's only 0.1 more than Dunk. So yeah, no, I won't worry about that. I think your team looks fine, to be honest with you, but in my opinion, I would wildcard if I was you. But that's my personal opinion. But yeah, no, I would definitely wildcard. But yeah, no, that's my personal opinion though. I'll just see how your team pans out and how you think, but yeah, no, all the best, bro. Still here, there, play. If not, have a great day, and I hope you enjoy how your FPL is going. Mine's going really sticky. I finished top 1k last year in the world, and now I'm sat on 808k. It's been a bit of an iffy start, so we're just trying to chase some rank now. We're trying to get back, but it's not really the time to make ridiculously dumb decisions. I think it's the time to try and get a load more gains on people. And I do think Watkins will help me do that. I do think it's not a bad pick at all. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's a tough one. Really is. I'm still annoyed after the Liverpool game on the weekend. But yeah, no. But yeah, no. Still here, bro. All good. Yeah, no. To be honest with you, Grays, I would just wildcard. It's just not worth saving it, because when you use a team, pretty much the team like I've set up here, right? And if I show you quickly, right? With 29, Salah blanks, Rashford blanks, and if Haaland's Kane, Kane won't blank. So essentially you'd have Cash come on for Rashford, Salah come on, and Botman come on, and then Estupiñán and let's say McAllister. Not Estupiñán, sorry, McAllister and Matoma. Because obviously, watch, you're essentially coming on. You're essentially coming on. You know, you're essentially coming on. So essentially you've got 8 players playing. But if you had Kane instead of Haaland, you've got 9 playing for 28. And then you've also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Kane don't double. 10, 11, 12, 13 doubling. And you can do Saka to Maddison 29. Have Kane as the only one who doesn't double. Bench boost 29. Then game week 30, bring Haaland back in for Kane. So essentially you would have 14 players who double 29 plus Kane. Who still is not a bad player considering he's got Everton. And Haaland's got Liverpool. So I do really like this draft. The only one I think, if you're not sure on Cash's start, you could have Mings. But I'm quite positive Cash starts, to be honest. Cash has been playing. He's played the last 3 games, 90 minutes. Young hasn't played in 4 game weeks, so I can't see him playing. I think it's a very, very solid team. Honestly, for a wild card, I think it's definitely worth it for me. I don't see any need not to wild card. It's definitely worth it. Watkins is such a good pick as well. And I think, like, Salah isn't necessary. Obviously, I understand why, because of Darwin, but I just think the wildcard benefits you more because you'd have 6 players double this week, as well as setting yourself up for 28 and also 29 and onwards, Bob, because you'd have your transfers to move people out, and all the fixtures are fine because I've already worked out the rotations between Ward and Raya, the defender rotations, the midfielder rotations. I've worked everything out already, so it's all pretty much done for you. And then you just come back each week, I tell you who to play, who to this, blah, 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 and it's all going to run perfectly fine with this draft. I don't see any reason not to wildcard, but like I said, it's your decision, but I don't feel any reason not to wildcard this week. And Haaland will definitely be Kane on Friday. I'm just not making the move till Friday. So everyone just assume Haaland is Kane, because that will be the pick I'll be making. I just won't be bringing Kane in until Friday. Just as I want to be 100% sure. Don't want to lose my money now as well. I want to make sure I just do it latest as possible, as I won't be able to reach the Saturday deadline at 11. So I'm going to do it late Friday night. Will probably be the time I'll do that. It is snowing outside today. Really bad as well. It is snowing really bad. That's mad. But yeah, no. We're still waiting on the usual mods at the moment, boys. Which they shouldn't be too long. But yeah, no. But yeah, no, it's all good. We're just gonna wait in. We're waiting for Slay, you know, Fabio, all the guys to come in. Which this shouldn't be too long. To be honest, I've started a lot earlier than I was going to today. Which is a bit different to what I usually do. I am quite happy with this team though, like I said. I will show you the rotations though now, with the keepers. So, obviously, you're going to play Raya here. Obviously, you're going to have to play him on the bench boost here. 30, you will bench him for Ward. Which I'll show you. Ward has Bournemouth. And 31 and 32, you will bench Ward for Raya. As Raya has got Wolves and Aston Villa. Well, I've got, actually. Ward will play 32 and I'll play Rico Henry. But then, Cash would have already been sold by then, or Rico Henry would have already been sold by 32. Anyway, obviously you'll play Ward for 33, 34 and 35. And Raya hasn't got bad fixtures. In the 34 you could play him, 35 I wouldn't, 36 I would, because that's when Ward has a tougher fixture. And then 37 I wouldn't, but then I'm quite sure Ward has a decent fixture again. Yeah, Newcastle, it's mediocre. 38's fine. So you'd have 1 week where Ray's got a bad fixture, but other than that the rotation's fine. And it'll be the same with the defenders, they all rotate perfectly fine. And obviously you'll have transfers along the way, so you can always make a goalkeeper transfer down the line. I think it's a great draft. I haven't really seen anyone make a better draft than this yet, to be fair. It's obviously just still the case of either McAllister, Matoma, or March, Matoma, or March, McAllister. I personally prefer McAllister and Matoma to March. My gut feeling just tells me not to have March, and I just don't think he's going to be as good as people are making him out to be. It's just the fact that McAllister's on pens and he slightly edges it. March isn't a bad option though, and he could go to March, but it's a tough decision. Really is. Stupinan is a great pick though. Still, I think his index is quite good. Okay, it's mediocre, but he picks up assists occasionally. Got 2 assists that game, 1 assist that game. No assists, but he got 8 points that game, so he must have got. Oh yeah, he come off with a clean sheet in the loss. That's right, but I just think he's not really a minute's rest, to be fair, because he's going to play minimum 60-something minutes, and they always keep a clean sheet anyway, and he picks up quite a few assists. And that was only because he was pretty injured, but then, other than that, look, he plays 90 minutes most games. 90, you know what I mean? So, I don't see any reason not to go with Steep. Best defender for this week, if you ask me, by a mile. I rate him over any Brentford defender this week. Yeah, I know. What's your team now anyway, Grays? What have you decided to do? Have you hit the wild card? Have you transferred Halland to Tony? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? We'll pull up the actual transfer page again with our wild card as well, because that's our current amount of money in the bank. 2.6 million. We are 3 subscribers now off, boys, the 140 goal for the month. We're close. We're getting close. Watkins, man. Watkins looks good. Tony too. I really like this wildcard. This has been the best wildcard I've done in seasons. I want to know what you boys are still doing though. What's your transfers like? You wildcarding, you're not wildcarding. Some people are. You wildcarded last week, I bench boosted this week. Which I don't think there's really a disadvantage, to be honest, because if you've got 4 double game week players on, you'll bench this week. It'd be the same as having 4 double game week players on the bench 29. I just think game week 29 doubles are better than 27 for the bench boost. And I like the team, to be honest. Obviously, Saka, Botman, Ward and Matty Cash are on the bench for this week. As I definitely do prefer Watkins to Saka. Personal preference, I think he's a better option to start this week, especially versus West Ham. And I'll start him, obviously, Bournemouth as well, because I'll have 8 players playing that week. But I just think Watkins is a no-brainer. He's just so low-owned for what he is. Like, I know, obviously, 8.8%, but I consider that quite low-owned. And it's like, if you look at his weeks, he's had an 8-pointer, 11-pointer, 7-pointer, 8-pointer, 6-pointer, right? And then he's also had, goal scored, assists. He blanked last week, yes, but it's just the fact that he's been pretty consistent, even when they've lost. So I just don't think he's a bad pick at all. It is mad, though. It is mad. We're still waiting on all the mods, bro. Everyone's pretty busy today, to be fair. I still think it's funny that some people had bloody Sarr in last week and he got like that 15 flipping pointer versus Tottenham. I think it was a 15 or 11 pointer or something like that. Was it 11 or 12? Yeah, 11. Yeah, which was generally just a clean sheet, bonus points, save points. I think he got save points. Save 6, yeah. Britain's points 3, so whoever had him, fair play. Ward did well. Obviously, I told everyone else to play Ward, and I played Raya over him, and it kind of bit me in the arse. Because I advised everyone else to play Ward, and I played Raya, obviously, because they had Kepa. So it's Kepa or Ward, and I said Ward. Because I just thought Ward was better, and he was. Gained 5 more points, so he was the better call. Ward played very well versus Southampton, to be honest with you.